Welcome to our International Student Brief. Today, we're diving into the latest buzz from down under and across the globe. First up, Victoria's Premier Jacinta Allan just returned from a trip to China, aiming to strengthen economic ties. She highlighted the cost-effectiveness of Chinese tunnel construction and discussed increasing Chinese student numbers and tourism, all while balancing concerns over rising crime rates and political implications. It's a trip filled with opportunities but also some complex challenges. Next, Allan is also focusing on making Victoria a welcoming place for Chinese students. She emphasized the importance of quality education and people-to-people exchanges, like partnerships between universities in Australia and China. She's advocating for reforms to improve student experiences, mental health, and social integration, especially after the setbacks caused by COVID-19. It's all about building trust and fostering long-term relationships. Finally, Allan's personal approach in China marks a shift from her predecessor Daniel Andrews. Instead of just economic interests, she's emphasizing cultural understanding and genuine connections. Her meetings and shared history with China aim to deepen mutual respect and cooperation, showing a more nuanced, heartfelt way to strengthen ties. Please continue to stay tuned for more details. According to the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, Premier Jacinta Allan's recent trip to China was marked by a blend of symbolic gestures and strategic engagement. Her visit culminated in a photo opportunity at a tunnel construction site in Sichuan, where she proudly announced the purchase of tunnel boring machines from a Chinese manufacturer, highlighting the remarkable cost efficiency of Chinese infrastructure projects compared to Melbourne's own suburban rail loop. Beyond the photo ops, Allan engaged in high-level meetings with provincial governors and China's education minister, emphasizing the importance of fostering trade relations and increasing Chinese student numbers in Victoria. While her strategy did not yield immediate policy changes, it set a tone of ongoing dialogue, emphasizing human connections over mere economic transactions, and aiming to build trust and cultural understanding between Victoria and China. The Sydney Morning Herald underscores that Allan's approach signifies a departure from the previous leadership style of Daniel Andrews, who prioritized transactional diplomacy and economic gains. Allan's emphasis on human relationships, cultural exchange, and mutual understanding reflects a more nuanced and respectful engagement with China. Her trip included signing agreements to boost student exchanges and foster deeper educational ties, such as the establishment of joint institutes between Victorian and Chinese universities. She also addressed the importance of addressing issues like mental health and social integration for international students, recognizing that genuine cultural exchange and quality education are vital for strengthening Australia-China relations. Her personal narrative, including her family's Chinese heritage and her emphasis on shared history, adds warmth and depth to her diplomatic approach. According to The Age, Allan's China strategy is characterized by a focus on cultural diplomacy and people-to-people connections, contrasting with the more transactional and economic-driven policies of her predecessor. She advocates for a relationship built on mutual respect, language, and shared history, emphasizing that these elements are essential for long-term stability and trust. Her personal engagement, such as her conversation with China's education minister about her daughter learning Mandarin, exemplifies her belief in the power of cultural understanding to foster stronger international ties. This approach aims to create a more balanced and respectful relationship with China, moving beyond mere trade and investment to include educational and cultural exchanges. Allan's efforts reflect a desire to deepen Australia's engagement with China, emphasizing the importance of trust and shared values in shaping a sustainable partnership. Deutsche Welle reports that despite martial law, young Ukrainian men aged 18 to 22 are now permitted to leave the country freely, a move President Zelensky claims will keep more youth in Ukraine without compromising national defense. At the border, men like Mykola, Ilya, and Ivan explain their reasons for traveling, visiting relatives, attending football matches, or pursuing studies, highlighting a mix of personal, economic, and recreational motives. Meanwhile, men aged 25 and above remain subject to mobilization, with some like Roman noting an increase in inquiries from men eager to leave before potential conscription. Border officials observe that overall passenger traffic remains influenced more by summer tourism than the new regulations, with the general consensus among locals like Ivan's mother being that most young people who want to leave for good have already done so, while many others see travel as temporary or for leisure. The overall sentiment suggests that this policy adjustment offers hope for economic and personal freedom, but it also stirs debate about the implications for Ukraine's military readiness and societal cohesion amid ongoing conflict. The BBC reports the harrowing story of Leanne Abeyance, a woman from Telford who traveled to Turkey for cosmetic dental surgery and ended up suffering severe, life-altering complications. She paid £3,000 upfront for implants, but the procedure, performed under local anesthesia, left her with a collapsed septum, constant infections, and an inability to breathe through her nose. Despite initial hopes of a quick fix, her condition worsened after returning to the UK, where the implants pierced her nose and caused persistent infections. Her experience underscores the dangers of seeking cosmetic procedures abroad, especially when infections and complications arise, and highlights the importance of consulting NHS guidance before travelling for such treatments. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation details the significant restructuring at the University of Technology Sydney, UTS, which plans to close its schools of education and public health, resulting in the loss of over 1,100 courses and 134 jobs. This move aims to save $100 million and return the university to financial stability after years of deficits since the COVID-19 pandemic. However, critics like Vince Caffery and Green's deputy leader Maureen Faruqi argue that the cuts are poorly managed and detrimental to public education, calling for greater oversight and more inclusive governance. The NSW Department of Education has expressed concern about the impact on the teaching workforce, emphasizing the need for a strong pipeline of educators to support the state's social and economic needs. Yahoo US features the inspiring journey of Sandra Salada, who spent 6 weeks living in Mexico to test her ability to handle life abroad and reconnect with her roots. Leaving her corporate job in NYC due to burnout and rising costs, she and her fiancé embraced the nomadic lifestyle, exploring Puerto Escondido and Mexico City. The trip was transformative, offering moments of joy, self-discovery, and challenges like health scares and loneliness. Despite returning to the US temporarily, Sandra feels more confident about her desire to live abroad full-time, recognizing that the experience has deepened her understanding of herself and her relationship. Her story exemplifies the growth, resilience, and lessons gained from stepping outside one's comfort zone to pursue a life of adventure and self-realization. Yahoo US reports that Boris Becker, the legendary German tennis player, has emerged from his 231-day imprisonment in Britain with a transformed outlook on life, marked by a newfound cautiousness and a profound self-reflection. In his new memoir, Inside, Becker candidly shares how his time behind bars, an experience he describes as brutal, especially the loneliness of solitary confinement, has reshaped his trust in others, leading him to keep a much smaller circle of friends and to be more discerning about who he allows into his life. He recounts the stark reality that prisons, whether in England or Germany, are a level playing field where everyone, regardless of their crime, be it white-collar or violent, endures the same hardships, a sobering revelation that softened his judgments and fostered empathy. Becker also reflects on the psychological impact of incarceration, emphasizing that prison is a punishing ordeal that can leave lasting scars if one isn't careful, but he believes he has managed to recover without damage, thanks to family support. The former tennis star discusses how prison changed his perception of himself, reminding him of his prime when life was in order, and admits that the prison mentality is difficult to shake, especially the sense of equality among inmates. He openly criticizes the glamorized portrayals of prison in films, revealing that the reality of solitary confinement and the absence of distinctions based on crimes are far more harrowing than most imagine. Becker, who has always been in the public eye, admits that the constant judgment and media scrutiny in Germany have made him wary of returning, preferring the privacy of Italy where he and his wife have been rebuilding their lives since his deportation. Despite his struggles, he expresses a strong desire to return to Wimbledon and reconnect with his roots, working with authorities to find a way back to the UK. Financially, Becker has made progress since April 2024, no longer insolvent, and is focused on rebuilding his assets with his wife, while preparing for the arrival of his 5th child. He remains active in tennis, occasionally swinging his racket, confident in his skills, and cherishes the moments when his family joins him on the court, illustrating a man who, despite past hardships, continues to find joy in sport and family life. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.